When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fanfiction story. If you like this type of content, smash the like button and subscribe for future videos and updates that I do post on my community tab frequently. If you want to get access to my content early, check out the Discord. I'll probably release this part shortly after I get done recording it, but the rest of them will come out periodically after October, because I got the script done so fast. Now, we're going to start our story off in a unknown timeline, in an unknown universe, specifically Universe 0, that's been sealed off by the Omni King, where a version of the DC universe and their version of the Dragon Ball Z universe collide. Like the other universes that are watched closely by their chosen angel and god of destruction, but Universe 0 has no such thing. Even Universe 0 has their own version of Saiyans that resides in an unknown sector that the Guardians don't know about or unaware. Sadala is currently being invaded by the Cooler Force, and Cooler himself, the emperor of his territory. In this sector, in this timeline, Frieza was never born. Cooler was the only son of King Cold. First form Cooler was sitting on his throne, on his mothership, watching the video footage of the assault of Sadala. Report. What is the situation of the sad excuse of a planet? We've captured many cities, and the Saiyans are proving to be irritating, but we should have the entire planet under our control by daybreak. I want these monkeys dealt with, gentlemen. Not tomorrow, now. Lay a blanket upon the cities. I want those cities to be eradicated in the next 2 hours, or do you want to experience what your predecessor went through? No, sir. In fear of receiving a death beam, he ran off to give Cooler's orders to begin to lay blanket fire. Bombardment onto the large cities of Sadala. Honestly, I don't know why Father allowed these monkeys to develop to the point they are now. These filthy monkeys should have been eradicated a long time ago. Cooler got up from his throne and walked over towards the viewing window, watching his ships fire upon planet Sadala, targeting the cities, as Cooler has his hands behind his back, watching the destruction, safely on his mothership, as his tail began to twitch in irritation, as several key beams begin to hit his ships, as he sees a group of Saiyans attacking his ships. Care to explain to me how these monkeys are doing this? We have no idea. And care to explain to me how these monkeys could breathe in space? And how did that escape your notice? When he was about to say sorry to Cooler didn't give him enough time. Give him enough time to complete his sentence, as a death being shot through his chest killing him. I'll deal with these filthy monkeys myself, as he exits his ship into the vast vacuum of outer space, and hover with his hands behind his back, as Cooler is still in his first form, waiting for the group of Saiyans to approach. Any other universe, Saiyans can't breathe in outer space, but this specific group of Saiyans naturally evolve to a point where they're able to function without having no air, making traveling space completely harmless to them. They do have the technology to traverse and travel through the galaxy. They do send out their young to unknown planets. It's tradition for the Saiyan race. They still conquer planets after all. They're more like space pirates, if anything. That's why King Cold ordered Cooler to neutralize the Saiyans, the Saiyan race. They're causing too much attention. In their surmise, they're trying to evade, specifically Darkseid, and a robotic being called Brainiac. The Saiyans did not talk, they simply only attacked. First form Cooler. Cooler just leaned to the left and right without moving from his spot, dodging their fist. Cooler caught an incoming fist with his hand. You filthy monkey have the goal to attack me, your superior, Lord Cooler. As he hit one of the male Saiyans across the face with his tail, as he was sent flying away, hitting a couple of floating asteroids in the area. Cooler engaged the rest of the Saiyans in a hand-to-hand combat, easily blocking each attempt, as he simply killed them by using a well-placed death beam. As Cooler begins to kill one monkey after another, Cooler had enough, as he begins to charge a supernova on the tip of his finger, as several Saiyan pods blasted off. As when Cooler launched his attack, a singular pod was caught in the aftermath, as it was slightly damaged, as it was taken off course. Instead of going to a lower power level planet, it clearly veered off course to a unknown location. The Saiyan pod flew past over and traveled through the vastness of space, as it finally crash land on a well-known planet, Apokolips, the homeworld of Darkseid, slamming right into the middle of the city of Apokolips. Either by fate or by unfortunate luck, the first person arrival upon the scene was Granny Goodness. Curiosity piqued her interest as she opened the pod to find a small baby with a baby with black hair and a little hint of red tints on the tip of his bangs, with red eyes, as was a pure black fur monkey tail on his rear. What an interesting child. When she tried to pick up the small baby, Lasher bit her hand. Feisty, Darkseid would definitely like you. As she picked up the wild baby, that looks like to be the age around 1 or 2, not even bothered by how aggressive the child is, as she walked to the palace. She ordered for the pod to be removed and placed somewhere safe so she can research it, as she made her way to report back to Darkseid. Report, Granny Goodness. Yes, Lord Darkseid. A space pod crashed in the middle of the city. And have they been dealt with? Anyway, yes, when I opened the space pod, I found a small child, a baby, of an unknown alien origin. Darkseid got closer to the child and got off his throne that Granny Goodness is holding, as the child snarled and bit Darkseid's hand. Instead of raging, the new god, he was simply amused by the attempt. It's a smirk on his face. Stick him with the rest of the children. Let's see if this one proves to be any usefulness. If in the end, he's a disappointment, we could always exterminate it at a later date. Right away, Lord Darkseid. Granny Goodness took the baby to the orphanage where she raised and trained all of her children. And now she got a new addition, so she's going to be quite busy, as she has a glint in her grin. 4 years has passed. Lasher is 6 years old. Even at his age, he has endured hellish training. Surprising Granny Goodness on the small boy's power. Even Darkseid took notice to the boy's growing power. Every time he's nowhere near his level, but the rate of his growth, he's going to be quite powerful. Each time he was near death, Lasher would get a Zenkai boost. Lasher would always find himself barely alive in his training sessions with Lord Darkseid. The 6-year-old Lasher would endure another brutal training session with his master, as he jumped up in the middle of the air and tried to slam his fist into Darkseid's face, only to get backhand, as Lasher was sent flying into the wall, hard, cracking it from his impact. Is that all you got? Pathetic. If this is all you're capable of, you're no use to me. Maybe I should kill you after all. Darkseid grabbed Lasher by the tail, completely zapping all his energy, as he kept slamming him into the ground repeatedly as spider web cracks began to form. Darkseid let go of Lasher's tail. Lasher lashed out in anger and started to move faster as he flash stepped right in front of his master and kicked Darkseid, actually landing a solid kick, making the new god to skid backwards slightly, surprised by his increasing speed. For a brief second, actually landing a solid blow upon himself, not actually hurting Darkseid. He wasn't damaged one bit from the attack, but he was impressed by his drive. Darkseid was clearly amused by the burst in his speed, as Darkseid had a smug grin on his face, as he begins to push the boy further. After he basically beat the boy to a bloody pulp, he had the small boy sent to the infirmary, barely alive. Darkseid is purposely bringing the boy inches away from death to make the boy more powerful. It didn't take him long to discover Lasher's Zenkai boost. Found this alien boy to be interesting specimen when he had his scientists look at his genetic makeup, and to say he was impressed would be understatement. Whatever race he belongs to, they were designed to fight. They were designed to kill. And that was the perfect warrior. That would make them a perfect warrior, a warrior race that Darkseid will utilize Lasher to be his perfect weapon against the Kryptonian that has beaten him on several occasions. Lasher woke up in the medical wing of Apokolips once again. His body feels like shit, as he could barely move. But eventually he was healed up and got another Zenkai boost. Not a big one, but he's slowly getting more stronger. The desire to kill Darkseid only increases as time progresses. It's not because he hates him. It's just his Saiyan instincts coming to the surface. He knows full well he can't kill him. He's a god, and he's just a weapon to be used. As a pure-blood Saiyan, the thirst for battle against a superior opponent is the only thing pushing him forward. And Darkseid knows that. That's why he pushed him so hard. Lasher's only thought is to get stronger. With the information Granny Goodness gave Lasher from his pod, he's fully aware of his Ki energy, Ki energy, ever since he started training, as he also been working on his Ki control. He's nowhere near mastering the energy that he's able to produce. He's also made a couple techniques. He's nowhere near mastered them, but he's making good progress. After all, he is still just a small boy. He sat in the middle of his chambers and began to meditate, sensing his ki. If anyone was inside his room or his chamber beside Lasher, they would be able to see the color of his ki is pitch black as it's swirling around him while he's meditating. He knows enough about ki that he's able to fly. That was the first thing he learned by pure accident when Darkseid threw him off a building. His brutal training continued. His brutal training continued, training his body in brutal death matches, facing against Darkseid or anyone he orders him to fight against. As this continued, alongside with his ki training, when he's not in the arena, he grew leaps and bounds in controlling his ki. As Lasher is at this time in the story is 10 years old, as he walked into the throne room of Darkseid, as he's been summoned by his master, as Lasher is wearing a black battle suit with his Saiyan monkey tail wrapped around his waist and bend to one knee in front of Darkseid, who is sitting on his throne. You wanted to see me, Lord Darkseid. A mission for you. You have achieved adequate enough power to my satisfaction. I order you to venture out and gain experience. But I forbid you to approach planet Earth. You're no match. You're not strong enough. You will not stand a chance against many of the inhabitants of that planet. Understood. Is there any other worlds I need to be wary of, Master Darkseid? Not at this current time, slave. Go forth. Destroy. At your heart's desire. Go forth, my weapon, and spread the word of Darkseid. Shall be done, Lord Darkseid. Or you venture outwards, my child, as Granny Goodness hand over a boom tube over to Lasher. Lasher attached the boom tube device on his waist, on his belt, as his Saiyan tail is concealing the device around his belt, wrapping his tail around his waist. He immediately got up and began to step out of the palace. The moment he stepped out of the palace, Lasher flew off, leaving Apokolips for the first time. This planet has been his home for the past 10 years. As he begins to venture into the vast vacuum of outer space, and begin to explore the galaxy while flying. And the fact that Lasher could breathe in outer space, there's no need for him to have a spaceship. Of course, his master would never gift Lasher with such a gift without Lasher proving himself first. This mission will be many of trials and tests Darkseid will thrust upon the young Saiyan. Lasher begin flying for quite some time, as he took a pit stop and entered an unknown planet atmosphere. As he landed on the surface of the planet, on a cliff, on a mountain, as Lasher found some trees and kicked the tree next to him, as a fruit dropped down to his hands. As he begins to chomp down upon the alien fruit, as he begins to eat it, as he watched lights in the distance from the nearby city, he immediately begins to hunt all the wildlife and begins to cook them. As he made a fire with a singular weak key blast, as he begins to cook the meat, when the meat was fully cooked, he begins to eat. While he's inside a cave to stay out of sight. There's no need for him to be spotted by the locals before he's ready to reveal himself. Lasher could sense several powerful power signatures scattered across the planet, but majority of the planet, power signatures are very weak. He's also, during his training, he also learned how to sense power from any alien species that he come across. He doesn't know the exact number, but he gets the gist of it. The aliens of this world are pretty weak. At least there's a few powerful ones in there, at least. That should keep me entertained before I move on. As the night begins to fall, Lasher decides to get some sleep to recover some stamina he used by flying all the way here from Apokolips. Lasher was immediately awoken from his slumber, sensing a powerful power signature entering the planet's atmosphere. As a singular ship that came parting through the sky, going through the clouds, as the same model it is a ship from the Frost Demon race, and immediately begin to hover upon one of the cities, as this undeveloped planet has several different type of... Let me try this again. And immediately begin to hover above one of the cities of the undeveloped planet, as several different type of aliens came flying out of the mothership, as a singular frost demon came hovering out of his ship and gave his orders. Form ice, command his men to initiate the attack, kill them all. This planet should be enough amusement. Eradicate them all, leave no survivors. Lasher watched as the unknown alien that came out of the spaceship immediately began to fly around, shooting key beams at the defenseless aliens of this planet. Because Lasher was basically raised by Granny Goodness and Darkseid, and being a pure-blooded Saiyan, he did not care about the permanent species that's being eradicated in front of him. But his blood is boiling from the mere thought of fighting a strong opponent, especially that alien that came out of that ship that's clearly the leader, giving out orders. Lasher at this time does not care about the weaklings, as he watched the slaughter. Lasher couldn't wait anymore, as his Saiyan blood begins to boil, as he cannot resist the thrill of battle against a strong opponent. He immediately blasted forward and grabbed one of the invading aliens by the face and blasted him with a Nova Wave, completely eradicated him. As a key technique, completely engulfed the alien, leaving nothing but ash. With that singular attack that caught the attention of Ice. A monkey? What is a monkey doing here alive? Reports were true. Some of these monkeys did manage to survive Lord Cooler's onslaught on their pathetic world. Eradicate him. As Ice ordered his men to eradicate him. No matter. Time to kill a monkey. The remaining invasion force turned their attention towards Lasher and begins to unleash their Kai techniques. As several Kai blasts, one after another, came flying towards Lasher, making Lasher to fly around the key attacks. Lasher immediately began to gather a large amount of ki in the palm of his hand and extend his palm outwards towards the group of charging invading aliens. Once Lasher channeled enough ki, he unleashed his technique, as he hasn't fully mastered this, as he unleashed a powerful Eclipse cannon that completely took out the cannon fodder, killing majority of basically henchmen of different races. Had enough and flew towards Lasher and stopped right in front of him, as he has his hands behind his back, gazing at the Saiyan, who dared try to attack him, and his men, who dared try to challenge him. By doing this, challenging Cooler himself, Ice may not be a high-ranking member in the Cooler force, but he's confident in his skill that he could take care of this monkey no problem. Ice, thinking this is no threat, as he activated his scouter and picked up his low power signature. Compared to his, again, his power level is so low he might as well not have a power level to begin with. But unknown to Ice, Lasher is clearly suppressing his power, so the scatter couldn't detect him. Lasher's became quite talented when it comes to suppressing his power signature. This is the end of the road, monkey. You die here today. And the one who's going to die here today is you. Whatever you are. Hail, Lord Darkseid. As Lasher made the first move and managed to hit Ice across the face, making the Frost Demon go flying downwards into several of the buildings, one after another. As Lasher gave chase, proceeded to shoot out ki beams from his hands while Ice was in mid-flight, slamming into buildings. As a explosion went off from the ki attack, Ice slammed through a building as he slid on the other side of the building, grinding his feet against the ground, stopping his momentum, wiping the purple blood from his mouth from the initial attack. Lasher hovered down right in front of Ice and got into his martial arts stance, specifically a martial arts stance that he learned from Apokolips. Lasher and Ice begin to exchange fists as their fists begin to collide with each other, making sonic booms as they begin to hover in the sky while exchanging blows. Both opponents begin to throw attacks faster and faster. As the sonic booms increase, as they begin to continue to exchange blows with each other. Moving so fast, the natives of the planet can't keep track of their movements, as all they can see is sonic booms scattered all across the sky. Lasher might only be 10 years old, but he's been brutally trained and had several Zenkai boosts. So he's easily keeping up with the frost demon called Ice. He's far more weaker compared to the rest of his species. He only has access to his second form. Right now he's currently in his first form. Ice dodge a incoming fist from Lasher and proceed to knee Lasher in the stomach, making Lasher spit up spit as Ice slapped Lasher across the face with his tail, sending Lasher crashing into the ground. Lasher got up and spit out some blood from his mouth from getting hit by the frost demon's tail and stare upwards at the hovering frost demon as Lasher proceeds to growl and grind his teeth. You can't win, monkey. I might be the weakest of my species, but I still overpower you. I'll finish this. I'll finish what Lord Cooler started. What do you mean, bastard? You really don't know. You really don't know what you are, monkey, do you? Allow me to enlighten you before I kill you. My monkey friend, you are a Saiyan, an alien species that had the gall to declare themselves the superior warrior race that was completely eradicated. Your people, your planet, all gone. And the ones that do manage to survive are scattered across the galaxy. You filthy monkeys and your kind will be eradicated eventually. As we speak, the Cooler Force is hunting every single one of you pests down. Lasher started to laugh. So that's what my race is called. And this Cooler killed my people. Your master is no match for mine, Lord Darkside. He'll die if you challenge Apokolips. Unlike this Lord Cooler, the one who I work for is a god. Who this Darkside you're referring? As Ice is not high enough to the totem pole to know about Darkside. He's still no match for Lord Cooler, but enough idle chit-chat. Time for you to die. As Ice begins to scream and power up, as his ki increase and engulf his body, as Ice's body begins to extend, as his muscles begin to bulge, as his height begins to increase, as his two horns begin to lengthen, with a last burst of power, and after a bright flash, Ice revealed himself in his second state, his second form, as Lasher's eyes widened from the transformation. Ice flash stepped right in front of Lasher and slammed his fist into his chest, so fast that Lasher didn't even see it coming, as he was sent flying into a building after building after building. Lasher came out flying out of the rubble and started to throw combination after combination, throwing punches and kicks. Only for second form Ice to easily maneuver around his attacks and backhand him away, as Lasher was sent flying backwards as Ice appeared right behind him and grabbed him by the back of the skull as he slammed him into the ground hard, as he lifted him up by the back of his head and slammed Lasher's face right back into the ground hard, making spiderweb cracks from the impact, as Lasher From Lasher hitting the hard surface of the ground repeatedly, Ice wrapped his tail around Lasher's neck and lifted him up off the ground and began to strangle him and began to slam his fists into his kidneys from behind. He pulled Lasher closer to him. When you get to the afterlife, tell the rest of you filthy monkeys Ice sent you, you maggot. As Ice shot a death beam through the body, exiting through his chest, as Ice just threw the body of Lasher forward by throwing him with his tail into a destroyed building, slowly reverting back to his first form, breathing heavy. He's not used to keeping that form for a long period of time. As he returned back to his ship, he would destroy the planet if he could, but his energy levels are kind of low. So Ice retreated for now. He's already behind schedule. He killed majority of the population of this planet, just for fun, so he blasted off, leaving Lasher beat and battered, but still alive. Lasher was being dragged underground by the locals of the planet. Despite their technology level, they're clearly not vast enough to travel through space. But what they lack in advanced technology for space travel, they make up it for the technology for healing, as they designed their own healing pods. As they stuck the unknown warrior that battled in their defense of the Frost Demon that attacked their planet into one of these healing pods, saving Lasher's life that really doesn't care if these people live or die. He only intervened because his desire to fight a strong opponent was his only desire. He was going to either destroy this planet anyways, or kill everyone on it before he moves on, before he got his ass kicked, to show for it. After all his training, he still barely managed to survive. But once he gets healed up, he'll receive another good Zenkai boost, making him even stronger. As vengeance is in his heart, as he has his eyes closed in the healing pod, living this utter defeat over and over again in his mind, as his desire to get payback only increase as he heals. That's where we're going to stop it. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Enjoy my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next video.